BreakPoint 2007 Power Rankings. For the first time, what we're going to do is we're going to rank the 9 teams for the 2007 season and see how they stack up against each other in preparation for the 2007 season. So hopefully this gets you excited about the 2007 season and we can go from there. Number 9, the Purdue Boilermakers. You have to be something special to be rated below a brand new team like Oklahoma, and Purdue has done it. They have a 13 overall team rating. This is the lowest rating since 2001 when Butler started out. They were a 13 rating. So we do not really anticipate much from the Purdue Boilermakers. This is their 3rd season and they're only 1-11 up until this point. So they've only won 1 game in their history, and it looks like the way the 2007 schedule stacks up, they're not going to win any today. So I have them projected to go 0-6. The key game is at Oklahoma, where Purdue will be facing off against a 16-rated Oklahoma team. And since they are at Oklahoma, it still doesn't look like, it looks like a long shot that they'll win it. And that's why I have them rated number 9. That gets us to number 8, the Oklahoma Sooners. So this is the first year for Oklahoma and their brand new coach, Ike Wagner, the lowest rated coach in history. But he's dealing with quite a great team here. He's got an F6 and 2 F4s, which really add up to a 16, which is pretty good. If you'll notice in the schedule, they only have 2 home games because of how far they are and the agreement to become the 9th team. The teams agreed to allow them in at the loss of 1 home game. So to start for this year, at least they'll only have 2 home games. And really, those are the keys of their schedule. They actually have a shot at Michigan at home, and they'll be the favored team against Purdue at home. So those are the 2 games, and if they go their way, they could actually be looking at a 2-4 season, which would be really impressive for a new team. So that leads us to number 7, the Michigan Wolverines. And this is nothing short of a disaster. The Wolverines have a coach that is rated -1, and Bach has never won more than 2 games in a season, and I don't think it's going to happen this year. This is Bach's 4th season, and it's the worst one yet for him. His teams have been rated as high as 24, but that was with S. Mills players. Ever since then, it's just been steadily downhill. Had a couple of 21s, and now he's got a 17. The schedule's not very favorable either. The only win I see on here is against Oklahoma, and it's on the road. So it'll actually be even 17-17 against Oklahoma, and that's the key game. So if Michigan wins there, they're 1-5, but it could go the other way. It could go south, and we could be looking at Michigan and Purdue 0-6 in the season. That's a high probability. The only other thing I'll mention is S. Bach as a -1. There has been word in the Michigan campus that they're seeing if they can get out of the 2-year contract. They're stating that because Bach is in -1, he shouldn't be allowed to coach, and they should be able to remove him early from the contract. So we'll see what the NCAA thinks about that. If they approve the firing, then next year they'll have a new coach. And that's a big year because there's going to be 4 coaches that are going to be up on their contract. Knowles from Notre Dame, Fitz from Kentucky, Wilson from Butler, and Bergerston from Purdue. And so that's a big carousel that they might want to get involved with if they can land a good coach. Hopefully the NCAA will approve that, and S. Bach will get fired. Number 6, Butler University. So Butler went 3-3 last year, 9-8 over the last 3 seasons. I believe Wilson will lead them to another 3-3 record. I think they're going to lose to IU, Valpo, and Notre Dame, and beat Oklahoma, Michigan, and Purdue. So their schedule is very favorable. They play the top 3 teams and the worst 3 teams. They also have an S7, which is kind of exciting. If they can get some upsets, maybe that S7 could win the Flores Award. The key game that I have for Butler is the home matchup against Indiana. Butler has revamped their stadium, so we'll get to see that. And hopefully at the new revamped Butler Bowl, Butler can get their 2nd victory of Indiana in the history. So that would be pretty exciting. But other than that, I see them as a 3-3 middle of the pack team. Next, we have number 5, Kentucky, the national champions. And man, they have fallen just a little bit. They couldn't make up the loss of their top senior 9. They dropped 5 points from where they were. They were at 29, now they're at 24, and their schedule is not very favorable. They do get Indiana at home, but they do have to go on the road to Tennessee and Valparaiso. I actually have them losing to Tennessee, and that's kind of where they're going to land at 4-2. They'll beat Michigan, Purdue, and Oklahoma. They get the bottom three, just like Butler. 3-3 is obvious, but I really do think they're going to drop one and maybe even two against either Valpo, Indy, and Tennessee. This is Fitz's lowest rated team since 2004, and I'm a big fan of D. Fitz. He's got his national championship, and really, if you're looking forward for Kentucky, it doesn't get much easier. The two seniors, the senior 8 and the senior 7, that'll be a 15-point hole that is going to be going into the 2008 season. So hopefully Fitz can get some good recruits. Now, that is considering if he's still here because his contract is up. So if they lose Fitz and they lose the two seniors, Kentucky could be looking like Purdue next season. They currently have a 6-game home streak. They're going to put that on the line against Indiana. So if they can win there, that'd be great. My key game, though, is at Tennessee. Tennessee's 27 rated, and I really see it as a must-win if they want to have any aspirations at maybe getting back to the championship game. I really see them coming in at 4-2. Number 4, the University of Tennessee. A lot has happened at Tennessee. So S. Mills is out. Love that coach. He's done a great job. He did a great job at Michigan and then set up Bach, and Bach blew it in Michigan. Then S. Mills gets picked up by Tennessee, and he really did a great job with Tennessee to get them to the level of being a really good team. And they let him go, and they pick up D. Lowell, who is, by all means, probably a better coach. He's got that 5 rating, and that is exactly what they needed to put them over the mark. So now they're rated 27. This is the highest in their history. And really, if you look at next year, the way it's set up, with those two juniors, they're going to come in. They could be easily rated 31 or higher next season. So if Tennessee doesn't make waves this year, next year they could be looking at a championship game, which is pretty exciting for a young team like Tennessee who's only been around for a bit. Look at that. They came in with Purdue, and Purdue has turned into the worst team. Here we have a team that's been here just as long, and they're on the verge of even making the championship this year. That's not out of the realm of possibility. When you look at their schedule, they got Purdue. They're going to beat Purdue. I think they're going to handle Kentucky. I think that's a key game. Notre Dame at home. That gives them a shot. If they can beat them at home, who knows? Drop the game against Valpo, and you're still looking at Oklahoma and Michigan and winning. So if you win one against Notre Dame or one against Valpo, you're 5-1. And that really is a great opportunity to get in there. My key game is Notre Dame at home. It's a 32 rated home, so they have to have some sort of advantage and a little bit of luck. But if they beat Notre Dame or Valpo, they're looking at 5-1 and a good argument for the championship game. That leads me to number 3, Valpo Crusaders. Now, Valpo is a funny little team. In 2001, they won the national championship, and then they were considerably bad for the next 2 seasons, and then they won the championship again, and then they've been bad for the last 2 seasons, and so reason is to believe that this is the year for Valpo. If they win here, that means they've won the first year, 3rd year, and then the 6th year, which would be pretty hilarious. Maybe fate is on their side. The only thing that's against them is a very tough schedule. They have to travel to Notre Dame and Indiana. I'm marking both of those as losses. And then the question comes, can they beat Kentucky or Tennessee at home? Or even maybe Butler gets them. They really only have one cupcake of Michigan on the schedule. So there's a lot of little things that could go wrong. But with that 30 rating, it's enough that things could go right and fate on their side. That's why I picked them 3rd over Tennessee, is really just because I feel like P. Howard runs a tight ship and he's going to do it. For my key game, I expect the 2 losses at Notre Dame and Indiana, putting them at 4-2. But then the big one turns into the home game against Tennessee, rated 27. Everything goes to scratch, and they beat Tennessee. That knocks them out, and that gives them an opportunity at the championship. If they lose to Tennessee, they're out because probably most likely Tennessee will be the one that's going to go. On to the next one, number 2, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So this will be the 2nd year in a row that the Fighting Irish are top rated with a rating of 32. And looking at their schedule, they do have a real shot at 6-0. Toughest 2 games start right out in the beginning, home against Valpo and then at Indiana. Really the key game for Notre Dame is at Indiana. They have never beaten Indiana. They have an 0-4-1 record against them, and their one national championship came in the season that they tied IU. So they have to beat Indiana here. And really, even with the loss of Indiana, they'll be 5-1, and that kind of can put them in the championship game. So even if they lose at Indiana and they can survive the rest of their season and beat Valpo, which is not going to be easy as well, they can go 5-1 and still get into the championship and maybe have a rematch against Indiana. You look at what Knowles has here. His contract is up this year. I don't see him leaving. I think he'll be here for the long haul. They've got a good thing going. They're going to have a senior 7 leave, but they have a junior 7 and a sophomore 7 coming up. So they're just looking better and better. Even with that F5 at the back, they look like they're going to be here for a while. M. Knowles probably going to hang on even though his contract may be up. Things looking great for Notre Dame, not just short term, but long term as well. And then that leads me to my number 1 power rated team of BreakPoint for 2007, and that is Indiana. Of course, it's Indiana. Now, Indiana has a team rating of 28th, which isn't the best. We saw Valpo and Notre Dame had higher ones. But Indiana is sitting on that monster 13 home game win streak. The last time they lost was against Valpo in 2001 at home. And that win streak has marked up a 4-point home field advantage. And if you notice on this schedule, they get both Notre Dame and Valparaiso, the 2 toughest teams, at home with that advantage. B. Keaton's got it humming. You can see there's a senior 8. He is definitely a Flores Award favorite. This team has been to the championship 3 years in a row. Can they make it a 4th? I really feel like Indiana is going to sweep. They're going to win 6 games to none and be in the championship. And then it'll all come down to whether Tennessee, Notre Dame, or Valpo meet them there. And my prediction at the end of this, looking at how things are going, I think Notre Dame will go 5-1. The only loss will be against Indiana. Indiana will go 6-0, and that will put those 2 in the championship. And that'll be the 4th straight appearance for Indiana, and only the 2nd appearance for Notre Dame in the national title game. And I feel like Notre Dame will win with its 32 rating, so that'll mean back-to-back losses in the championship game for Indiana. But I still think Indiana is the best team out there. They've got the best player. They got the best coach. So until things start changing in Indiana, they're probably going to be the number 1 power-rated team for a while. There you have it. There's the power rankings. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed these power rankings, and I hope it gets you excited for the season ahead. So please check out the 2007 season. Have a great day.